Could you tell us a few words about your production costs, please?
It's one of the areas we've had to take a really critical and close look at, and particularly with our machinery policy, we make a lot of use of contractors. So the contractors here in today baling hay for us, and our major machinery operations we've put out to contract rather than undertaking them ourselves. It's just a much better way of us controlling our machinery costs. And really, in our economic sustainability, we've had to take a close look at some of these things, and whereas we as farmers always quite like to have all our own kit, in reality it's just simply not justified, and we've had to fundamentally change our systems accordingly.
Yeah, Russian farms are bigger, so maybe it's more cost effective for Russia.
We can just splice another piece onto that. The timeliness of operations actually is one of the key issues in using the contractor like this, because of course when we want his machinery, so does everyone else. So really it's a case of weighing up those things and taking a critical look at them. In many instances it would be better to have that our own machinery, but we have to look at the capital costs and truly understand how we can spread those costs over a wide area. This particular part of the farm is a new area of the farm which we've recently taken over, and we are going to have to invest quite a lot of work over the next few years in rebuilding the soil structure. We've actually taken this over and it's been pretty poorly farmed for a number of years, and we're going to have to look at breaking up the soil compaction, looking at the fertility in the soil and rebuilding that. And that's all part of the multi-enterprise work. If we can bring the livestock in, we can get manure back onto the ground, we can do some mechanical work to break the soil up and rebuild and get life back into the soil, and then we'll put this into cropping and start to take grains and pulses as annual crops.
When you say poorly used, what was here before? It was agriculturally used, but not the right way. So
it was agriculture used, but it was very intensively farmed. So a lot of machinery, a lot of heavy machinery on this land, and it compacts the soil down. And really, actually, if we're serious about making the soil work for us and producing as much crop as we can without lots and lots of inputs, the soil is absolutely critical to us. So a close attention to the soil, which here is pretty thin. We have about 1/2 metre of soil here over the rock underneath, and unless we get that soil working for us and its soil structure and its natural fertility up, we would have to use lots of inputs to get the crops to yield. And I think in the work that we've done, it takes us about somewhere between 5 and 10 years to rectify land that has been abused back into being highly productive again.
Have you got any advice for people who have soil spoiled by chemicals?
Do I have any advice for them?
Yeah.
Well, it's a long, slow process, and actually it's about getting the biodiversity of the soil working again. The flora and fauna, the bug life that actually lives within the soil, you have to get that working again. And really to do that, it means building up its organic matter and making sure the structure allows that bioflora to multiply and survive. And that's really the key challenge. Certainly in the UK, we've found decreasing organic matter and mechanical compaction to be our two biggest challenges. And when it comes to things like the soil being able to hold on to moisture through the summer months and being able to provide water to the crops, that's absolutely essential. Otherwise we'd be into irrigation.
But do you think it's a global problem, not just the UK?
Oh, it's a global problem, but it might vary in different parts of the world. In Australia it might be about salination and salt content in the soil, for example. So it's about understanding on each individual farm, actually down to each individual field, what the real problems are, and coming up with strategies for each individual area of land.